Hey Mike, what are you doing here?
Thinking about going out and getting something to eat. I'm so hungry, man. I thought about eating the weeds growing out of the sidewalk cracks.
Well, there's an awful lot of them down there, but I don't think they'd sit too well in your stomach.
No, probably not. Well, what are you doing here?
I just left City Hall. I had to pay my property tax. I'll tell you, Mike, if property taxes go up any higher, I'm going to be in the poorhouse.
Well, yeah, but it's not like the poorhouse is a real thing.
Well, it used to be. It's funny how you ask, because I visited the Berkshire Atheneum a few minutes ago, and my friend Anne Marie Harris gave me a map. I've been doing some research on our poorhouse. And she said it was, according to this map that she gave me, it's out on Outer West Street. It used to be there.
Really? We actually had a poorhouse?
We really did. There's a lot of things that have changed over the years. Like, you probably don't realize it, but City Hall used to be a post office.
Come on, that used to be the post
It
office?
used to be the post office.
I wonder what that looked like.
Well, you don't have to wonder. We can go and see it ourselves. Just use your imagination.
Well, how do we do that?
Like this.
Wow, that was weird.
I know.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, can you imagine it?
That is beautiful. Look at how shiny and clean that is.
Well, we used to take a lot of pride in our city buildings back then, and they took good care of that.
I guess so, I can tell. Well, now what do we do? Where do we head to next?
We're gonna go see if we can find out where the poorhouse used to be.
And where was that? Where are we going?
West Street.
All right, well, let's do it.
Yes, I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it, Mike. Because look at that hill there behind BCC on the side. Well, if you can just imagine what the poorhouse is, there's that same hill. Yes, this is what the poorhouse looked like in 1895.
Wow.
It was an important year for the poorhouse because the original house was built in 1830 and it was only the white wooden structure. And at the time they housed families that were poor, they housed women, sometimes prostitutes, they housed children and vagrants. And they also housed together with them people they termed as idiots and insane. So you can imagine with all these people mixed in together how it was kind of unsafe for many of the people housed there. So in 1895, they built that two-story brick structure you see on the other side. And that brick structure was what housed the idiots and the insane and the feeble-minded. Those are all terms that I found refer to these people there. We wouldn't use these terms today,
No.
but that's the way they were referred to. And they were also referred to as being inmates.
Now, this place is huge. I mean, who paid for all this?
We did, the city. Each municipality was in charge of taking care of their own poor. In fact, if you go back to colonial times, there were issues where we have people coming from other communities, and we would warn them out. We had the constable send them back home or charge them for being in our community because we were only paying for our own. And in 1895, the overseer of the poor of Pittsfield, he requested the city council to appropriate $5,000 for the year to take care of us. And an interesting stat, also $9,000 for outside charge. An outside charge were Pittsfieldians who were in other communities, and we had to pay for them.
Wow. So, how did all these people eat?
It was self-sufficient. They grew their own field. They had fields there. They grew their own food, vegetables, hay. They had livestock. They had cattle. I actually have some statistics from 1947 if you'd like to hear them.
Absolutely.
I have to read them because I don't remember them all, but it was funny because the women did all the housework. They did the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry, and the men tended to the farms, to the livestock and to the vegetables. And in 1947, the city reported that the farm produced 4,651 pounds of beef, 4,570 pounds of pork, 315 pounds of ham, 13,000 pounds of butter, and over 1,100 eggs. Fresh vegetables were abundant in the growing season. They had all they could eat, and they also canned it for the winter time.
Wow, that's amazing.
Isn't it?
So, all this time in my life, when I hear people saying they end up in the poorhouse, it was actually a real thing.
It was. Unfortunately, that in the 1960s, they fell out of fashion. There were other avenues, so they tore it down to make room for BCC, and they sent the 30 or so inmates there through to the Salvation Army, or some of them were sent to Northampton Mental Hospital.
So, who would have thought that BCC was the same site as the poorhouse?
It's amazing, isn't it?
Well, I tell you what, Mark, all that talk about beef and butter, I'm starving.
All right, let's get something to eat.
All right.